So imagine you are standing at a busy cash register, right?
Oh, yeah. High pressure situation.
Exactly. And the cashier rings up your coffee, smiles warmly, and says, "That'll be on me today."
Which is a lovely thing for them to say, actually.
It is. But if you are, mentally translating word by word from your native language,
Hmm.
panic just instantly sets in.
Oh, absolutely. Because you hear the word on.
Right. You might look down at your shirt, frantically searching for a bug or like a spilled drink,
Yeah.
because you're thinking, what is literally on me?
It's that moment of sheer terror. And we call that the translation trap.
The translation trap, it really highlights this massive gap between the English you learn in a classroom and, well, the pragmatics of how native speakers actually navigate the real world.
Yeah, because the textbook provides the grammar, sure, but the street operates on a completely different set of cultural codes.
And today, we're giving you the cipher to break those codes. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one. It's a great topic.
It really is. We are exploring the real, everyday English you need for high-frequency situations, specifically shopping and ordering food.
Right, because if you are learning English or honestly just want to understand the hidden mechanics of everyday interactions, you need this stuff.
Exactly. Our mission today is to just bypass the complex grammar rules and focus purely on the essential phrases that build your confidence out in the wild.
We're basically looking at the sociology behind the vocabulary.
I love that. Sociology of vocabulary.
Because fluency, it isn't just about knowing the dictionary definition of a word. It is really about understanding how English speakers use language to soften demands, avoid conflict, and negotiate social spaces.
I like to think of these phrases as the secret passwords of daily life.
Oh, that's a good way to put it, passwords.
Right. Because textbooks teach you how to build a sentence from scratch, which takes immense cognitive processing time in the moment.
You're doing math in your head before you speak.
Yes. But passwords just unlock the door instantly. So let's look at the psychology of the retail environment to see how this works. You walk into a store, a worker approaches and offers assistance,
And a textbook might suggest saying something clunky like, I do not require assistance.
which makes you sound like a robot.
Exactly. In reality, we soften that rejection by simply saying, I'm just browsing.
Browsing is such a brilliant linguistic tool.
It really is. Historically, the word referred to animals leisurely eating leaves and shoots from trees.
Wait, really? Like a deer browsing in the woods?
Yes,
Right.
exactly. And in a modern retail context, it signals to the worker that you are just, grazing.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, you are looking around without any intent to commit to a purchase right now. It just removes all the pressure from the interaction.
It establishes a boundary, but it does so in a way that respects the low-stakes vibe of a shop. The worker doesn't feel rejected.
And the customer doesn't feel cornered by aggressive sales tactics.
Right. Another variation that carries that same leisurely energy is just window shopping.
Perfect phrase. You're telling them your presence is strictly observational.
But eventually the observation ends, right? And you might actually need help locating something specific.
And the instinct for a language learner here is often to state the need super directly, like, where is the baking powder? Or, even worse, just pointing and saying baking powder.
Which, functionally gets the job done,
Sure, they'll show you where it is.
but it lacks the social grease that English speakers expect.
Mhm.
By asking, where can I find? You sort of invite the worker to collaborate with you.
Yes, you acknowledge their expertise regarding the store's layout, rather than, barking an order at them.
It transforms a demand into an inquiry.
Exactly. And so once you find the item, let's say it's a shirt, you encounter the bizarre world of clothing sizes.
Oh, don't even get me started on clothing sizes.
You grab a medium, but it looks like it was manufactured for a toddler.
Right. So the standard question to ask the worker here is, does it run small?
Which is such a funny phrase when you break it down.
I used to find that phrasing so strange. Because clothing is an inanimate object, It doesn't move.
It's not running anywhere.
No. But looking closely at the language, it is very similar to how we describe a clock that runs fast.
Oh, right.
It isn't sprinting across the room. It is just operating outside the expected standard of measurement.
That is the exact mechanism at play there. When we say a brand runs small, we are commenting on their specific manufacturing standards, like deviating from the norm.
You are asking the worker if the baseline of reality has shifted for this specific garment.
Beautifully put. And if you take that baseline shifting garment into the fitting room and it just looks terrible on you, you face another social hurdle.
And to get back to the attendant.
Right. Because saying this is ugly or I hate this feels far too abrasive.
Way too harsh. The pragmatic solution is just the phrase, "It's not my style."
Notice what that phrase accomplishes socially, though. It shifts the perceived flaw away from the garment.
Right, it's not the shirt's fault.
Exactly. It places the mismatch entirely on your subjective personal taste. It is the ultimate diplomatic rejection.
You save face, the store's brand is protected, and the interaction remains completely positive.
And then we have the phrase for actually accepting the item, which is fascinating in its brevity.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it is almost percussive. You strip away all the formality of, I have decided to purchase this item.
Nobody says that.
Nobody. English favors extreme efficiency at the exact moment of a transaction. I'll take it. Signals that the deliberation phase is officially over.
Right, the purchasing phase has begun. It just propels the process forward to the register.
So true.
Moving from retail to food shopping, the language we use reveals a lot about broader cultural attitudes, too. Like, there is a concept from the sources called a cheat day that pops up constantly in conversations about groceries and meals.
Yeah, that term is deeply intertwined with the diet and fitness culture prevalent in many English-speaking countries.
Right. It frames healthy eating like, say, drinking a spinach and kale detox smoothie as a strict rule, or even a moral obligation.
Therefore, eating a chocolate peanut butter smoothie becomes a transgression.
A sin.
Exactly. You are cheating on the nutritional rules you set for yourself.
It turns a simple dietary choice into a mini rebellion. But when it comes to actually acquiring food, especially at an open-air farmer's market or an independent stall, there is another set of rules entirely governing negotiation.
Bargaining.
Yes. If a basket of fresh tomatoes is marked at $10, directly stating that's too expensive feels really confrontational.
It puts the seller on the defensive immediately.
Right. So the linguistic strategy is much softer. You ask, how about $9?
You use a question to present an alternative reality.
I like that.
How about turns a financial demand into a gentle suggestion? It opens a dialogue rather than shutting down the transaction.
It's a classic hallmark of English pragmatics, wrapping true intentions in layers of inquiry just to avoid direct conflict.
You definitely have to read the room, though.
Oh, for sure. Walking into a massive corporate supermarket and asking a cashier, how about $2 for this carton of milk? That will just cause confusion.
Yeah, they simply lack the authority to override the barcode. They're just scanning items.
So in those corporate environments, the language of negotiation shifts from haggling over price to navigating store policies.
Right. You ask, do you price match?
You are appealing to the corporation's desire to remain competitive. You are basically asking if they will honor a rival store's lower price for the exact same item.
It shifts the burden of proof. And if a transaction ultimately fails, say you take an item home and it's just broken, you don't storm in and demand cash.
No, you ask, what's your return policy? Or you might ask, can I get store credit?
Which is such a fascinating financial compromise, store credit.
How so?
Well, the store retains your actual money within their ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
But they grant you the flexibility to choose a different item of equal value. It acts as a financial placeholder.
That makes perfect sense. This idea of softening our language, that polite distancing we use in stores, it really hits its peak in restaurants, I think.
Oh, without a doubt.
We walk in and establish our presence by saying, we have a reservation for 4 people under the name Noah Wilson.
Standard protocol.
But the moment we sit down and look at the menu, a massive pitfall appears for anyone learning the language.
The big mistake.
The immediate instinct is to translate the thought literally and just say, I want the lasagna.
Right. And from a purely grammatical standpoint, the sentence is flawless. Subject, verb, object, you desire the food.
But culturally,
Stating a direct desire to a service worker comes across as really abrasive.
it sounds like a child demanding a toy.
Yes, I want this. It breaks the social contract of mutual respect in a dining setting, so the standard polite workaround is, I'll have the lasagna.
It projects the action into the future. It assumes the transaction will happen smoothly and collaboratively. It feels less like an order and more like a gentle prediction of what is about to arrive at the table.
That's a great way to put it. It softens the request by focusing on the future possession of the food, rather than your current demanding state of mind.
I remember being completely tripped up by the customization phrases, though.
Oh, like substitutions?
Yeah, like if someone wants a burger without onions, the classic diner phrase is hold the onions.
Which is very confusing if you take it literally.
Initially, my brain translated that as an instruction to physically grasp raw onions in my hands while eating.
Just holding them on the side like a prop.
Exactly. It felt like such a contradiction. But then I realized diner culture uses hold to mean detain or withhold, similar to how you might hold an elevator for someone.
Right, you are stopping the door.
Yeah, you are stopping the onions from proceeding to the plate.
It is culinary shorthand developed in busy kitchens. The chef is constructing the meal, and the instruction is to just hold back that specific ingredient.
And we see this same kind of hyper-efficient shorthand when deciding where the food will be consumed.
Oh, absolutely.
Can I make it to go?
Yeah.
Just 3 tiny words, not can I take this to another location to eat it, just to go.
It's brilliant. It condenses the entire concept of packaging the meal in disposable containers and physically removing it from the premises into a neat 2-word prepositional phrase.
It really is. And if you are staring at a massive menu, completely overwhelmed by the options, you can shift the power dynamic entirely back to the server by asking, what's good here?
Such a natural phrase.
You completely bypass formal, clunky words like recommendation and just ask for their raw insider opinion.
It elevates them from a simple order taker to a culinary guide, really. It builds rapport and acknowledges their expertise regarding the kitchen's strengths.
Which brings us back to the end of the meal and the story we started with at the top of the show, the incredibly complex spatial metaphors English uses for money.
The dreaded bill.
Right. When the server asks if you need anything else, you close the conversational loop by saying, I'm good, thanks, or that's it for me.
A polite wrap-up.
And then you ask for the check, please.
The word check itself implies a verification of the total items consumed. But the real linguistic acrobatics happen when deciding who is actually going to pay that total.
And going back to the phrase, it's on me. To a learner, English uses physical prepositions in ways that seem entirely chaotic.
They really do.
We talked about the panic of wondering if a bug is crawling on your shirt.
Yeah.
How does the word on become a financial term?
Well, English frequently relies on physical metaphors to express abstract concepts, particularly regarding debt and responsibility.
Okay, so like a weight.
Exactly. We treat financial obligations as physical weights. If an expense is on me, I am physically placing the burden of that cost onto my own shoulders.
Oh, I see.
I am shielding you from the weight of the bill.
So the cashier in our opening story wasn't talking about something resting on the customer's clothes. They were taking the financial weight of the coffee onto themselves.
Right. They were giving it to you for free.
It is actually a really beautiful, generous metaphor once you decode the spatial logic of it.
It really is.
But if no one at the table is feeling quite that generous and you need to divide the cost, you ask, can we split the check?
Which is another physical metaphor.
Right. I always have this mental image of taking the paper receipt and literally ripping it down the middle.
Tearing it in two. But the physical paper remains intact, of course. You are cleaving the conceptual debt.
Right.
You are asking the establishment to process multiple partial payments that eventually sum up to the grand total.
And once the logistics are sorted, you ask the ultimate question, how much do I owe?
Or you might just inquire about the method, like, can I pay with card?
And if the total is, say, $9.50 and you hand over a $10 bill, you might say, keep the change.
A classic phrase.
It isn't just about giving away 50 cents, though. It is about the transaction cost of time.
Absolutely.
You are paying a small premium to avoid standing awkwardly while someone counts heavy coins.
It signals the immediate, clean termination of the interaction. Both parties win, really. The server gets a small tip, and you get your time back.
We have mapped out the psychology behind these phrases pretty well today, from spatial metaphors to politeness filters.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
But understanding them intellectually is very different from deploying them seamlessly in a chaotic coffee shop. The instinct to translate word by word is incredibly powerful.
It is the default setting for any language learner. But translating in real time creates immense cognitive lag.
Like your brain is freezing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your brain is trying to run a complex software program while simultaneously rendering the graphics. You stutter, you hesitate, and the conversation just moves on without you.
So how do we fix that?
To overcome this, you have to treat these phrases as single, unbreakable units of meaning.
Oh, interesting.
Like